All right, let's dive right in. We're going to be talking about active cyber attacks today. What are they? How do they actually work? And, most importantly, how can you build up your digital defenses to stop them?
It's a question we've all probably asked ourselves. Is someone watching me online? And look, while some hackers just passively listen in, the ones we're talking about today, they are way more aggressive than that. So, what do we even mean by an active attack? Well, the key words here are right on the screen. Modifies, alters, or disrupts. See, this isn't some quiet snooping. An active attacker is in there making changes, trying to damage things, steal your info, or just bust their way in. But here's the silver lining. Because they're making noise, they can be detected. Okay, let's start with the stuff that feels the most personal. Attacks that are all about stealing your digital identity. This is where a hacker literally tries to become you online. This right here is the classic Masquerade Attack. The name kind of says it all, right? The attacker puts on a digital mask by using your stolen password or username. They're not kicking down the door. They're just walking right in with a key they stole from you, pretending to be you, to get into your email, your bank, you name it. So, how do you stop them? Honestly, the defenses are pretty straightforward. A strong, unique password is your first line of defense, for sure. But multi-factor authentication, MFA, that is the absolute game changer. It means even if they have your password, they still need your phone to get in. And, of course, keeping an eye on your account activity. That's like checking the security cameras to see who's been snooping around. Next up, we've got the replay attack. This one is, well, it's pretty sneaky. Imagine you have a secret knock to get into a club. The attacker just records the sound of your knock and plays that recording back later to get in themselves. That is exactly what's happening here, but with your login data. So, how do we stop somebody from just replaying our secret knock? Well, modern systems have gotten pretty smart about this. They use things like timestamps and unique session tokens. Think of it like a movie ticket. It's got a date and a showtime, and you can only use it once. That single-use trick stops attackers from reusing your old captured data. Okay, so that's all about identity theft. But what if the attacker doesn't want to be you? What if they just want to grab and mess with the information you're sending? Well, that brings us to our next category, hijacking your information. This is the nightmare scenario of a modification of messages attack. It's not just about listening in, it's about an attacker jumping in and changing the data while it's flying across the internet. You think you sent one thing, but the person on the other end gets something totally different. And the consequences? Wow, they can be massive. The difference here is like a 1-2 punch. First, encryption, that's your HTTPS, it scrambles the message so no one can read it in the first place. Second, you have integrity checks, like a digital signature. Think of it like a tamper-proof seal on a bottle. If that seal is broken, you know not to trust what's inside. Oh, this is a great analogy for the infamous man-in-the-middle attack. It's so perfect. The attacker literally puts themselves right in the middle of your conversation. They're secretly intercepting, reading, and maybe even changing everything you send and receive. You think you're talking directly to your bank's website, but nope, you're actually talking to the hacker. So protecting your connection is everything. That little lock icon in HTTPS in your browser, that is non-negotiable. Using a trusted VPN is another huge one. It basically creates a private encrypted tunnel for all your internet traffic. And please, please be careful on unsecured public Wi-Fi. It is a prime hunting ground for these kinds of attacks. Let's talk about session hijacking. Okay, so when you log into a website, it hands you this temporary digital ticket so you don't have to put your password in on every single page. A session hijacker, well, they steal that ticket. And by doing that, they can just walk right into your account and take over your active session. Once they're in, they're you. They can send emails, buy stuff, all of it. So stopping this is really a team effort. The websites have to do their part by encrypting that session data and making those digital tickets expire pretty quickly. And for us, it means actually logging out of services when we're done and being a little suspicious of sites that keep you logged in for days on end without ever asking you to prove it's still you. All right, our final category. Let's talk about the attacks that aren't about stealing or tricking. They're about pure brute force disruption. The goal here is simple. Shut the whole thing down.
This slide just nails the difference between a denial of service, or DOS attack, and a distributed denial of service, a DDoS attack. A DOS attack, that's like one person standing in a doorway blocking it. It's annoying, but you can probably deal with it. A DDoS attack, that's like a giant, angry mob blocking every single door and window to the building. It completely overwhelms the system and nobody legit can get in. Now, defending against these is a huge job, and it's mostly handled by the big service providers. They use really sophisticated tools, firewalls, systems that balance the traffic, and things called content delivery networks, or CDNs. These basically spread a website's resources all over the globe, so there's no single point of failure to attack. So we've gone through all these threats. What does it all mean for you? How do we take all this info and turn it into a real, practical defense? Let's build your personal cybersecurity playbook. First things first, you gotta know the warning signs. Think of these as your digital smoke alarms. You get an email alert about a login from a country you've never been to, or your files suddenly look different, or your whole system just slows to a crawl for no reason. Pay attention. Those are clues that something might be very wrong. And here it is. This is your core playbook, boiled right down to the essentials. If someone's trying to steal your identity, your #1 defense is multi-factor authentication, period. To stop them from hijacking your information, it's all about using secure connections. Look for that HTTPS and use a VPN. And to prevent someone from taking over your session, just be smart, log out of things, and don't use sketchy Wi-Fi. Seriously, these 3 habits alone will make you so much safer. We've covered a lot of ground here, right? From stolen passwords all the way to massive network floods. The threats are definitely real, but as you've seen, so are the defenses. The knowledge you have now is a seriously powerful tool. So I guess the only question left is, what are you going to do to protect your digital world?